Hey there, this is Red, and it's time for a Red review. I was going over the cards that I have in my Marvel Champions collection, and I realized it was a while back I had gotten the Green Goblin Scenario Pack, but I had never talked about it and gone through the cards that came in it. So most of you have probably seen them, but I'll go through them real fast. So I have actually played with the Power Surge side scheme. If you go back to some of my playthroughs where I play against Claw, I've got some where I go up against Electro, and that's a very nice side scheme. So what I'm going to do is I'm not going to talk a whole lot about the cards. I'm going to try to go through them fairly quickly so we won't review. I will show all of the cards. So if you don't want to know what's in Green Goblin, like spoiler stuff, then you need to stop the video now. Otherwise, I'm going to go through what's in the deck. We won't go too in-depth into the cards, and I figure if you want to read them or investigate the cards more, you can pause the video right there and take a look at the cards. So, all right, so let's start off with the Risky Business. So Risky Business has, you start off with Hostile Takeover, you got Norman Osborn, and then you're going to have this Criminal Enterprise card that comes out. All right, so what's going to happen during this is, as you do Hostile Takeover, you're going to go from 1A to 1B, you go back and forth, and that's going to collect threat. And what's going to happen is this Criminal Enterprise here is going to flip over, and you're going to enter into like a state of madness. Norman Osborn here is going to become the Green Goblin, right? So you're going to flip back and forth between the two sides of Green Goblin, which is kind of fun, right? So you've got your 1A and 1B, and then 2A and 2B, right? So let's get those out of there, and we'll take a look at our Norman Osborns and Green Goblins here. So you've got a 1 Norman Osborn, and then a 1 Green Goblin. Then we've got a 2 Norman Osborn, and a 2 Green Goblin. And then we step it up for the 3 Norman Osborn and 3 Green Goblin, right? So that's your main villain in Risky Business. So let's go through the cards that are part of your encounter stack for Risky Business. So you've got a hired gun. You've got 3 hired guns in there. And then you have, actually, let me just set the whole thing down here, right? So then you've got your private security specialist. And there's 2, 3, 4 of those. And then you have a collapsing bridge. Oscorp Manufacturing. And there's a couple of those. A payoff. There are 2 payoffs. All right, then you have all in the day's work. There's multiple of these. 1, 2, 3, 4. We have Mad Genius. And there's a couple of those. All right, so that's what makes up the Risky Business deck and adventure. All right, so another main adventure that comes in there is the Mutagen Formula adventure. So in Mutagen Formula, you're going against Green Goblin. Surprise, surprise. And there's no Norman Osborn side, right? It's just the Green Goblin. And there's this mutagen piece. And essentially he's hitting everybody with the mutagen, and he's making goblins in the city, and you're trying to stop him before you get overwhelmed, right? So you've got 1A, and that flips to 1B. And you've got your 2A, and that's going to flip to 2B. All right? All right, and next up is you've got your Green Goblins. This is more standard. You've got a 1 Green Goblin, then a 2 Green Goblin, then a 3 Green Goblin. All right? All right, so let's go through what's in our encounter deck. So we have, we've got a Goblin Glider. We've got Hysteria. Pumpkin Bombs, one of my favorite Green Goblin things. Goblin Knight. Goblin Soldier. I believe there's multiples of those. 2, 3, 4 goblin soldiers. We have a goblin thrall. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 goblin thralls in there. You've got monster. 1 monster. Turn to the side here. You got some goblin reinforcements. 2 of those. Goblin Nation. 1 of those. Overrun. 2 overruns. There you go. This takes me back to my Battletech days. Death from above. 2 of those. And we have a ICU. And Overconfidence. And then I think to round it out at the end, we've got 2 Wicked Ambitions. All right, so those are the 2 main decks that come with it. Now there's 4 side schemes that come with it, and I think this one right here, which is Goblin Gimmicks, is really aimed at working with Goblin, because I don't think it makes a whole lot of sense outside of the Goblin stuff. So you've got your Goblin Glider, right? You've got another Goblin Glider. We've got some Pumpkin Bombs. Yay, Pumpkin Bombs. Two of those. Intimidation. A couple of those. Regenerative Healing. You have a couple of those, right? All right. So these other side schemes I think are more portable for if you're playing against other adventures and other villains. So the first one involves a Scorpion, right? And that's a mess of things. So you have that, and then you have the Scorpion himself, which is kind of cool. He's got the ability to stun you. And then he throws a Gang Up in there, which is a mean thing to have in there as an additional card. And then you got a couple of Tail Sweeps, right? Which is more stunning. All right, next up is Electro, which I've played with, and I think Electro amps up the toughness of an adventure. Right? He's fairly rough, I would say. So you've got the Power Drain. And then you've got Electro himself. The Electromagnetic Pulse. What he really does, and I think there's 2 of those. Oh, no, there's just one. One Electromagnetic Pulse. He really makes you go through your card deck, which can be rough, right? Helps get those acceleration tokens out there. So we got Lightning Bolt, and then Shock Therapy. All right, and the final one, which I'm kind of excited to play with. I haven't used this one yet, but you got the Running Interference side scheme, right? And I think that's got Tombstone in it, which is rough. Look at that, 9 hit points. And he's just massive, 2 scheme and 3 attack. So, and his response is awful too, right? Damages you have to discard a card. Ouch. All right, he's got an All Tied Up that comes with him, which is, this looks like a rough card to have in play also. You get Media Coverage. I think there's 2 of those. Yep. And that's our Running Interference side scheme. So that is all of them. You've got your, my decks are a mess over here. So we've got our Risky Business, which is here. There's some Risky Business. Then we've got our, what's this one here? We've got our Mutagen Formula. Oh, I'm picking up Mutagen Formula. And then you've got some Goblin Gimmicks, which is there. You've got some Running Interference, some Power Drain, and then a mess of things. All right, so 2 adventures and 3 side schemes, I believe, which looks like that right there. There's your little book that comes in there, right? So 2 scenarios, and then a mess of things, goblin gimmicks, so power drain and running interference. So 4 side schemes, but I think really the goblin gimmicks one really just goes with the goblin stuff. So I wouldn't recommend running it outside of that. So that's a quick review of what comes in the Green Goblin Scenario Pack. So I've played the power drain stuff, like I said, and I like it. So I'm looking forward to using some more of this stuff in there. I think some of my playthroughs, I might start going to get some of these goblin decks to see how those go. So that's it. Just a quick hitter going through this. So hopefully you can use the information. All right. Thanks. Thanks for watching this episode. Please leave any comments or suggestions you have below. If you like this episode, make sure to click on that like button, and you can click on the crazy jackalope to stay up to date with any new content that rolls out.